So if you can, get yourself like a good foot and a half from it, so that when these two sit down,
I'm not sitting down. Julie can. I think I'm out of the picture over here.
Oh, you'll get bored.
Going on the TV.
Well then, I'll turn the lens a little bit so you lean back and you're out of it. Then you do want to finally say something.
Then it'll be weird. I'll just be like talking in the back.
Then all of a sudden this guy will lean forward into the mic.
I just want to be back here.
Yeah, so another night of Winter Nutz Podcast. We got Blair from Ghostrider Motorsports with us tonight.
Yeah, man.
You've been with them for a few years. Originally Ghostrider Fernie, and then Ghostrider expanded into Marysville just over a year ago.
Yeah, last October, yeah.
You've been managing that place, getting it set up. You and Tanya have been doing a great job. How long have you actually been with Ghostrider?
I've been with the group for a few years.
And then when you say the group, is Jack Carter?
Jack Carter, yeah. Jack Carter is our parent company.
How long ago did Jack Carter buy out and take over Ghostrider Fernie?
About 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, about 3 years ago, November, I believe.
And they got a couple other motorsports shops in Calgary.
Yeah, they've got two. They've got Jack Carter Powersports South and North.
What do they sell out of those places?
They're Honda, Yamaha, Sherco, and Beta. And then, of course, we do marine and stuff at all of those locations as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you guys, because there's no marine in Fernie, but there's marine in Marysville.
In Marysville, correct, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
We dabble a little bit with Honda for outboards in Fernie, but not much. Mostly in Kimberley.
But you could get them if you wanted to get them, type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're Yamaha in Kimberley, so we saw a lot of Yamaha outboards there. Yep. And then wave runners, sport boats, that kind of thing.
And this is all connected to Jack Carter and Cranbrook, isn't there?
Yeah, North Star Chev in Cranbrook is also part of the group.
Yeah.
Cranbrook, Fernie, and Creston as well.
Oh, wow. Creston one.
Yeah.
Is there dealerships in Calgary then too that are linked to besides the motorsports one?
Yeah, we've got a Chevy dealership and a Cadillac dealership there.
Quite a large company. I didn't realize they were that big.
Yeah, and then they just opened up one last year in Calabasas, Malibu, California.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so they're expanding all over the place.
Hey, I know where you're going to retire, put your last couple years in down there.
I hope so. Yeah, hope for the sun, right?
Right on.
Yeah.
So how's things going in Marysville?
Really good, actually.
Yeah. That's been 1 year, you said? You had your 1 year reunion here a little while ago?
We did, yeah. We had a grand opening in the spring, because obviously we opened a little bit later.
Yeah.
But it's been awesome. You know, everybody's been really receptive to us coming in there.
You guys have been doing really good on the sales, ATVs, quads, and you've been involved with the ATV club too, which has kind of created an association with you, with them guys.
It is, yeah. The ATV club is pretty awesome around here. Really good group of guys. We've gotten to meet a ton of people. I know a few people here, but not many, so it's nice to kind of get into all these little different groups and meet a ton of people.
And learning this area too, because you're not from Cranbrook.
No, I'm from Invermere originally, so I, never ventured down here quite often, but it's nice now, especially going out with you guys and stuff. Now I'm getting to see the country. Getting to see the country down here, yeah.
That was a new ride for you the other day. So we went up Hall Mountain, and which not a lot of people know, but towards Grey Creek Pass, we'll just say that. And then there's a little zone up there we went and checked out.
Yeah, it was cool. I'd never been up there, so it's kind of nice to check it out.
It's a nice lookout.
I've been up over the Grey Creek before, but not. Didn't really explore anything, just to do the pass, essentially. Yeah, so it was nice.
Yeah, so we went for a little wrap on the two sleds. I got to take mine out for the first ride. A little bit of a break-in period on it. The first, I didn't know this, was 25 minutes. It's about 6,300 RPM. For anyone that doesn't know that's buying an Arctic Cat, expect it to have a rev limiter there in the 6,000s for about 25 minutes. So at 0.3 of an hour around there, maybe 0.4 of an hour, it opens up and it becomes more of a normal sled, but it's still got a break-in mode until 3.5.
3.5, and then 5 hours you're essentially unleashed.
So even at 3.5, that next level, you have a bit till 5 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, just to break it in nicely, oils it up nicely.
So you don't have guys like me just holding it right on that rev limiter, just wide open from day one.
Yeah. There's lots of those guys, which is fair. Can't blame them for on the power, right?
I knew that it was dummy proof, and I figured I had a rev limiter, so I just held it there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and how'd you like it? First ride?
It was nice.
Yeah.
A little bit low snow where we unloaded, so obviously we were being careful. So it worked out that it was keeping you at 6,000 RPM because you had to go slow over that area anyway.
Yeah.
Then as we rolled into the snow, we hit, well, there was a good 1.5 feet on the road. Yeah. And then it was like, this is perfect because that's when the power kind of turned on for me. And I got that, you know, first stage of the break-in done, and I was able to get a little throttle. It was cool. It was nice. I really felt at home on it really quickly.
Yeah.
And I was worried because I rode an Alpha once before, my buddy Chris's, and I instantly just fell over. And I noticed that I had to keep a little track speed up on it to actually create an equilibrium of balance just with the track rotating.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel that at all on this sled. Now, whether it was because I already expected it, I don't know. Yeah. But the second I was going on that road, and I did a couple donuts once we got up to the top into the play area, and we had 2 feet up there.
Yeah.
So donuts on the road were easy, and it just felt natural.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was easy to pick up real quick. It was light. It felt really light, especially when you got on the power and you're on that monorail and kind of dancing and leaning on the back end.
Yeah.
But not light enough where it felt unstable. Where then we hopped on this one because you brought this sled with us.
Yeah.
And that's a 146, and instantly like, leaned a little too far here and back over onto the road. Like so much like more nimble on this 146. It surprised me the difference between a 165 and the 146.
Yeah, that 146, that thing would be just dancing through the trees, that thing.
It like we just had said that day, it felt like about the closest thing you can get to a snow bike.
Yeah.
Any smaller, and you pretty much are, besides 2 skis on the front.
Well, exactly. I love this little thing. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
You know, it feels super light. You don't even have to lean, and it'll just go wherever you want. You know, lots of power. That new flash that just came out. Hopefully that'll wake it up a little bit too.
We're going to give that a go. So we're going up this week. We'll reflash them in Fernie, and then hopefully on the weekend or something there we'll get out.
Yeah.
And maybe Julie can finally take her sled out. She's out of the camera here, but
yeah,
this is Julie's sled, and I know she's itching to get out on it.
Yeah, she's excited.
Yeah.
To put some miles on that thing.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, maybe Monday if all works out.
Yeah.
You never know. See what happens.
So you're going up to Fernie regularly here. You're back and forth between the two. You're managing both outfits. So if someone wants to get a hold of you, you've got your cell. You either call Tanya or Bryce up in Fernie.
Yeah.
Then they can connect you, or they'll connect them.
Yeah, they basically know. Between the two of them, they know where I'm at each day.
Yeah.
So if you're calling Kimberly looking for me, they'll tell you I'm in Fernie or vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have only been sliding for a few years. We went over this. Yeah. You are really looking forward to getting out with me. We'll go over a few things and kind of, force you to learn how to tree ride.
Yeah.
But you're big into motocross back in the day. We were just going over suspension and all the stuff that you had. So your history has been dirt bikes.
Dirt bikes for pretty much ever, yeah.
And that's how you got into the motorsports outfit kind of thing?
It is, yeah. I mean, we all probably know the same guy, Ron Newman.
Yeah,
I've known
definitely.
Ronnie for a long time. So, bought a bunch of bikes off of him through Blackfoot, and then actually worked at Blackfoot for a long time.
In the sales department?
In the sales department, yeah. Yeah, I was there for a long time, which was really cool. Obviously really nice being right across from the motocross track. So a guy would just go to work, get off, and head over there and hammer out some motos.
I had to drive down Deerfoot and then on to Blackfoot, but same thing, I had my membership. Used to go there all the time.
Mm.
The people that live in Calgary, I feel like the bikers really utilize it. It is so handy to have that in the city.
Yeah.
Because if not, you're driving a long ways. Like you live here, you leave from your house.
Yeah.
But if you live in the city, which some people have to, and that's where they choose to live, and that's where their careers are,
right? Then
to have that track there, that's so sweet.
It is, yeah, because otherwise you're driving a Drumheller, I guess would maybe be the closest one.
Well, they even have a bush course, and they have the Extreme Enduro, or what is that with all the tires, Trav, where there's the jumps, you're jumping tires, and they got the rock pits, hard enduro.
Yeah.
The other day I went over and looked at that. Holy cow.
Right?
I was not getting into there.
Oh, I know. Yeah, well, hey, at least you got legs. My legs are too short to even touch the ground, so I can't even go in there. I have to start with starting blocks.
And then they have an enduro track that goes up and down the hill all the way around the property now.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to find it. Some guys were telling me about it.
Yeah, they do like a turkey scramble there.
Oh, do they?
Around Thanksgiving, yeah.
And then so they'll link into the dirt bike track, do like a lap around the track, and then link back into the bush track, and then
it's
the
actually
hill
a big
track.
chunk of property they have there.
It is huge.
Yeah. just hopefully it gets to stay, because I know there's some stuff going on with the city.
We were talking about that, and I think that's been going on since I lived there
forever.
15 years ago.
Yeah, so it's not looking like it's going to happen, but you never know.
I'm sure the city would love to jump on it if it ever did.
Oh yeah, but I mean, everybody, it's hard to beat when you've got those jumps there, and your backdrop is pretty unreal.
It is pretty unreal.
Yeah.
Remember they used to televise the CMRC races?
Yeah.
And you'd see the video, the camera, and the background of those big, not the international jump, because that was to the right, but they had those other big tabletops, and the skyscrapers are all in the background, the Saddle Dome, and
I think it's called the Mountain's Edge now. Is just that big tunnel jump that goes over top of there, and then that's the one they capture everything with.
All the nice photos.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's the one with where they go over under.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
Huh.
Yeah.
So, tell us a little more about yourself. You're new to the community. You're kind of getting out there.
Yeah, I mean, I've got, some friends here.
Yeah.
I've been here for, I guess, a year and a half now. I was here about 4 months before we opened Kimberley, just kind of getting everything set up.
Yeah.
So it obviously takes a little bit of time doing that. My daughter lives here. She lives in Kimberley, so it's really nice to be close to her for once. I've always been away.
Yes.
So it's really nice to be back in a small town. You reach an age where you're pretty over the city. Yeah.
When you said you're setting up Marysville, how much setup do you guys have to do? Because it used to be a car dealer, I think.
Yeah, it was a Chevy dealer there, yeah.
And converting it over, did it take much to convert that over to a motorsports shop?
Not really, no. Setting up the shop is just wheeling stuff in, but it's just a lot of stuff to bring in.
Yeah,
it's just a lot of stuff. Like, we're still not done. We've still got a bunch of stuff outside, but, probably sometime next year we'll have all that done and get our signs up. It took a little while to get permitting for LED signs on the side of a building there.
What all do you guys got up there? What are you selling for dirt bikes, side-by-sides, quads? What can someone go up and look for if they wanted to go have a look?
So all Yamaha products, basically.
Yeah.
So, YZ 85s, 125s, 250s, 450s, a full line of motocross bikes, competition style or recreational. And then, of course, all the ATVs, Kodiak 450s, Grizzly 700s, Wolverines 850s, 1000s. And like I said, sport boats now. So sport boats, hopefully, will be a good one for us next year.
Sport boats, fishing boats too? Or what does Yamaha got?
So Yamaha owns a line called G3. So they do pontoon boats or fishing boats. Almost like bass style with hard tops on top as well.
Kind of like a John boat, but
similar,
with the steering wheel in the center.
Exactly,
Okay.
Yeah.
And they all powered by Yamaha?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, all powered by Yamaha outboards. And then we sell those basically from 2.5s to 300 horsepower.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We obviously don't do many of the big ones out here, but for the guys in Kootenai Lake, for sure.
Yeah. Right on. I saw the whole fleet of PW50s there too. You had mentioned all the dirt bikes you have. You guys have a whole bunch of those.
We do, yeah. We built a ton of them, obviously, coming up to Christmas.
Yeah.
Last year we did really well with gifts for kids. So.
And then you have your Yamaha fleet still. There's a bunch of 120s, 200s for kids.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any more of those 400s left? The Venom, what are they called, the Venom? Or is
yeah. We don't. So the only stock we have left for Yamaha now is we've got some Mountain Maxes.
Yeah.
154s and 165s. And then, as you know, 2024 was the last year for the Mountain Max. And then 2025 is the last year for the Sidewinder.
So someone, if they wanted a Sidewinder 4-stroke turbo, could still pick one up if they wanted to.
There's very few around, but we can still get them,
Yeah. So Yamaha did build them this year.
They did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll have their last edition this year, and then they'll be raffling that off. So it'll be interesting to see what actually happens there.
So you guys are also carrying Climb, like what were all the different apparel brands? I've seen Tanya made a post that, there's all this apparel, 40% off.
Yeah.
What do you guys carry for apparel?
So we've got 2B, of course, so we've got a bunch of stuff in stock there that we're kind of just clearing out for this year so we can make room for all the new stuff.
Yeah.
And then we've got Climb, 509, of course, for snow gear. And then, Moto gear, we're Alpenstar, Leat, and 7. And then we've got some Fox stuff left, but we're kind of tapering out of that.
All right. And you get all your oils and filters and bike stands and
we got all that stuff in stock.
What about race fuel? You guys gotten into that at all?
We do, yeah. We have Gulf.
Golf?
Yeah.
And what levels of octane is that available in?
Well, they've got 110, so essentially everybody was running C12 forever.
Yeah.
So Golf has their 110, which is equivalent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's where I can go to get some for my Viper when we go hit the big iron.
Exactly, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, we'll have it there, yeah. We were carrying BP for a long time, but the price has just skyrocketed, so we went over to Golf, and Golf is just as good and a little bit friendlier on the wallet.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then we'll talk about the Fernie store, I guess, a little bit too here.
Yeah.
And you guys got the Articats.
We do,
the
yeah.
new 858. I did a couple little videos there the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had one of your mechanics building one of your customer sleds, and then you guys had a couple on the floor. We had a couple little videos that we did, and you guys have a couple for sale now too still.
Yeah, we've got some pretty decent inventory. We had a couple non-currents, obviously last year, 2023 models of the old style Alphas.
Yeah.
But which is actually kind of nice. We lucked out with Articat, and they kind of hooked us up and gave us a bit of inventory for the 858s. So we do still have some 154s and some 165s available.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then, of course, I'm hoping next week we'll have a couple of the 2025 600s in the store as well.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And it's not a lot of dealerships have stock left on those either.
No.
So you're one of the few that do have a few pieces that are, on the floor or in crate ready to be sold.
Exactly.
Someone can come have a look.
We've got a pretty good relationship with Articat. Over the last couple of years, we've kind of taken inventory when nobody else didn't really want any necessarily. We've kind of created a pretty good relationship with them.
So then you kind of know what's going on with this whole Articat layoff, and they're shutting one of their facilities down for a month here or something.
Yeah.
And I was even getting texts from people, so I'm asking you, like, hey, what's going on? So you kind of filled me in a little bit, so I kind of have an idea. But why don't you just kind of fill everybody in and what you know or what you can share and what's going on there?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, being a dealer, we've all gotten emails about, the rumors going around where everybody was thinking that they were just completely shutting down. Last year was a tough year on every manufacturer, and every manufacturer laid people off. And they're just doing the same steps as everyone else. Essentially, they'll close down for the month and a half, and then they'll start production on the 26th in January in Q1.
Okay.
They'll have a little reflection of their, financial status. Just like everybody does at the end of the year.
And then that's not going to affect the snowmobiles in any kind of way. So people don't need to be scared that, hey, they're backing out and they're not going to have this or that available next year.
Yeah.
This isn't affecting the sleds at all.
I read an email from those guys today that it won't affect our day-to-day at all.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to hear.
It's just basically production. So now that they're done production on the 25s, they'll just move on to the 26s come Q1.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Do you want to cover a little bit of the different options with one of these? So earlier Trav was coming in, we're describing, hey, like why does this one have different shock package? So we see that the 600s have this shock, and then my 858 has that shock, and then people are hearing that there's a ATAC system available as well. What are the three different series of sleds that people can look at?
So on the 858, I mean, you'll have to forgive me because I don't know all the model names, but yeah, you've got three different models. You've got like a base model, which will come in just an all black 154, which is common. We've sold a bunch of those this year. And then you've got yours there, which is a Snow Pro. So you get upgraded shocks on it, which is kind of like your biggest difference between the base model is you get that upgraded package.
And some color.
Exactly, versus just the black. And the new green is nice.
It is.
I was telling you guys earlier that, side by side, last year's green and this year's green are a little bit different. In a shop, maybe it's bright, but outside it looks good.
Was there more options in this Snow Pro green, blue, or was it just green in that?
Just green in the Snow Pro, and then when you get up into the Mountain Cat, you can get up into that sky blue.
Okay, so the Mountain Cat's the top tier, and what does it all have?
So it's got ATAC suspension, and then of course the G8 dash, which is kind of like the new big thing.
Okay.
In Canada, we don't get a few features that the US does, which is being able to track your friends, but you still get GPS, which will be handy.
Okay, so you can leave a little breadcrumb trail of where you've been and where you're going.
Exactly, yeah.
It'd be kind of cool to play with one of them, see how much memory you have.
Yeah.
So, can you ride all year, or does it need to be saved onto a card of some kind?
You need to download it, stuff like that. Well, hey, you'll get some time to spend on it. For sure.
Yeah. Okay. Because my last sled was the Polaris. I didn't have that screen, and my sled prior to that, a 2019 Polaris, did have it. Yeah. And it would save for a certain amount of time, and then it would fill up that breadcrumb trail. Oh, right. And you actually had to delete your history. So if you were up in Revelstoke and you had this new zone that you went in and found, it only had so much memory, and then it would actually have to start clearing that, and it was unfortunate. I never got to play with the new one. I would assume it's a lot better.
Can you download that onto a stick so that you can save it all?
I think there's a USB port under the hood that you can plug into, and then I think you could add to memory on it.
Yeah, because I know a bunch of guys are just running the Trail Techs. Is that right?
Yes, and I have one as well. Yeah. So on my side, I actually plan on getting a Trail Tech mount from Reamer's Rendering from Dan, which we just had a podcast on here last time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put my Trail Tech on, and that'll be what I use on this sled.
Yeah.
So eventually here I got to wire this thing in. Still got a little bit of learning to do. I got to figure out where the external 12 volt source is besides the one that you plug into for your helmet.
Right, the heated helmet.
It's got the heated helmet plug there, so I have to do some research and get you to help me figure out where the other 12 volt source is. It's fused.
Yeah, well, they've got a nice fuse block in there, so I'm sure there's probably some open.
Something.
Yeah.
And wire that all in and get it set up.
Yeah, there'll be a few spots in there, I would imagine. A guy can put some accessories on them.
But it looks like we're getting some snow.
Finally.
Yeah. And a lot of snow.
The other day, now I'm just pumped to go.
How much did you say they had there on that Instagram post in Revy?
I thought it was 160.
160 centimeters? Yeah, it sounds like they're ready to rock and roll up there.
Yeah.
We don't have that here.
What did we have the other day?
60 centimeters, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, it's coming.
It's coming.
And after this weekend, we'll probably get some more. You know, Rebels are, I think, supposed to get hammered over the next week even.
Every day.
Yeah.
Like, you look at the snow forecast, and it's snow, 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 and snow.
Yeah.
There's not really any sunny days in between. It's exactly what it's supposed to look like for November.
Yeah.
And then hopefully...
To go to work.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
We got to get you out. Your sled's here now?
It's not, but it should be probably by the end of next week, and then we'll have to get it out and do the same thing that you have to do with yours. Put the time in it.
Yep.
Patiently wait for braking.
Put it on a stand and put elastic bander on the throttle.
100%.
And go into the office and just do your thing.
Well, hopefully there will be snow on the ground then. I'm just going to ride it around the shop. Yeah. So if anybody sees me out there just doing circles around the shop, that's what I'm doing.
I know. I wish we get some snow here. I would love to just do a couple laps around my backyard and put some hours on.
I know. Yeah. That'll come.
Our friend Harvey, he mentioned that his came out of break-in mode the other day and it cut loose.
Right.
And it was a handful.
Yeah.
He said it was a bit much on the trail.
Yeah.
It was too much.
Really, eh?
So, and it's not even at that, did you say 5 or 6 hours?
5 hours.
5 hours. He said the 3.5 where it and then he's at the 4 hour point. So it's still got another stage for him to break in.
Yeah. That'll be pretty wild. Well, and I noticed Climb actually released a new little video, and that's what they're on, is a new cat.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
I gotta check it out.
Yeah.
On Facebook?
No, I think I was scrolling across Instagram somewhere or something, and they've got maybe a new helmet out or something. And I mean, I didn't really notice.
What that's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I noticed.
Not just Polaris's.
Not just Polaris's, yeah.
Well, and I feel like with this new cat, I think that's opening the door for the third, sled manufacturer out there to now get into the market again. Because for a long time, it was just Skidoo and Polaris, because they came out with the turbos. There was your boost and then your turbo Skidoo. So they were kind of owning it for a bit there. And Arctic Cat was falling behind for these last couple of years. They had the big, the monorail came out, but that was before the turbos were out. So that was a big deal. Even my brother was talking about it. He had one, and it would blow the socks off an 800, and it would even still beat an 850.
Yeah.
So now with this, they're leveling the playing field, and they're in there now.
I feel just the actual chassis of the old Alpha was just outdated. Right. It was time, and I spent a little bit of time on the 600 last year, and I had a blast. I mean, it's so maneuverable and stable. And a guy that doesn't have a whole lot of experience, it's super easy to ride. Probably the easiest sled I've ever ridden, for sure.
What other sleds have you owned in the past?
Skidoo.
Yeah, you did have one?
Yeah. My last Skidoo was a 2001, so a little while ago.
Yeah, not that ancient though.
Yeah, no.
Right?
Yeah, the old ZX chassis,
my Polaris was a 20. Well, it was the previous chassis, but still there was nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, but surprisingly, I've never even been on a Polaris.
No,
never even thrown a leg over one. Probably will this year, I think.
Well, when Trav trades his in for this one,
right,
then you can take that out for a rip.
Yeah, we're already prepping him over there.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him this hat at the end of the night too.
Yeah. He was already eyeing it up when he was on the table. So.
Looking at the Velcro and how the Velcro come on, and you had 2 different hats in one.
Exactly.
He thought it was the coolest thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's pretty sold. It was the hat that did it.
Yeah.
So it pushed him over the edge for sure.
Yeah. But he was like a kid at a candy store when he came in here, and he was pulling the panels off the sleds, and look at this, and look at that, and look at this has changed, and even the primary, he said, changed.
Yeah, that's what he was saying, yeah.
The primary looked a little bit like, we don't know if we want to say it, but a Yamaha clutch.
Yeah.
So whether there was, because Yamaha and Arctic Cat had joined up for a while.
Yeah.
And, when I read my Viper, that is the old Arctic Cat chassis.
Yeah.
So there's no reason for them to be like, hey, we're going to have a look at this Yamaha clutch, and it might be a good thing, because I heard that the old clutches weren't that great.
Yeah.
So
well, we all know
Yamaha
makes an unbelievable product, right?
Their clutches were unbelievable. But they take 400 horsepower in some of them turbo sleds.
Yeah.
And took it like a champ. Yeah. Some people never blew belts ever.
Well, I mean, man, just look
if
at
you
it,
did blow a belt,
right?
it was sheer force, and they just rip them right apart. Just like rip that belt in half, spit it out the front of your panel, and then you just,
Yeah, we've got a customer that brought his side-by-side in for service.
Yeah.
And he's got, I think it's 11,000 kilometers. Never even looked at the clutch.
Never. Was it dirty? Dusty?
No, we didn't, we were going to change the belt, obviously, once you get in there, but...
No clutch dust, really?
No, nothing.
Like, not filthy or anything?
Nothing.
See, I would have thought it would have been black. That many K.
Yeah. I mean, he takes care of his machine, but, he probably wouldn't ride it like, say, maybe you and I would. But essentially...
I am the one and only Yamaha side-by-side owner to blow one up.
Probably, yeah.
Peak Performance used to be the Yamaha dealer here in town. And it was just that one-off chance.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do. That's what warranty's there to protect you from, and that's manufacturing defects.
Yeah.
And that was your one manufacturing defect.
Well, they've got a 10-year belt warranty now.
10-year belt warranty?
Yeah.
Holy.
Right? Yeah. So, I mean, if that doesn't say that, we back our product, I don't know what does.
No kidding.
To be honest, right? Yeah. So, I mean, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. What events I was going to say you were sledding last year, and you talked about how you were riding the sled last year, and at that time I thought of a question, and that was, where did you go? What'd you do? You went to Fernie?
Mostly Fernie. Yeah. We obviously did a few demo days in Fernie last year.
Yeah.
At Morrissey. Justin and those guys from the Fernie Snowmobile Club. There was a big event and stuff up there, so there was a bunch of us. It was a wicked turnout, actually. I think it was one of the biggest turnouts that they'd had.
For a demo day.
Yeah.
So did all manufacturers have their sled there? Was there a Skidoo?
Well, A&E was there, and they were out of Brooks, I believe. Yeah, so they were there. Mountain Toys out of Cochrane was there with Polaris.
Yeah.
And then we were there with Cat and Yamaha at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a good turnout. That parking lot was full.
Wow.
People were parking basically all the way down, almost to that other bridge that goes up. I can't remember what they call it, but it was an impressive turnout.
No? Don't know the name?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it was impressive. I think it was like a record for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully they do it again this year. We'll probably go. Okay. Set up a demo day.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm down to go to that.
Yeah, because we'll probably do a couple demo days in Fernie, and then I'd like to get out with the Elkford Snowmobile Club as well.
Did you see that they asked if anyone would come to a drag race if they put one on?
I did actually. You know what? I was gonna text you that. I was gonna screenshot it and send it to you.
I did it. And I put my hand up.
Yeah.
I said, if you did it, I maybe bring my Viper.
I think that'd be an awesome idea.
And mainly want to do it. I mean, not so much that I want to do it. Like, it's cool, and I do enjoy it. It's a bit of a drive, and I got my own family here, and I like to ride around here. But I would do it just so that someone around here is doing it.
Well, I heard
like
that
we
they
need
used to
this
do
stuff.
drag races in Fernie.
They used to.
Yeah,
and
so
it went
they
away.
Don't anymore.
They don't.
Right.
No, Grizz Days. They used to have it involved with that whole package, and it's right where that new gas station is. You're leaving town across from Island Lake Lodge.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So in behind that gas station, there's some new condos, and that was the drag strip there.
Yeah. Okay.
And that was quite a while ago they quit doing that.
Yeah.
And they used to have Linderman there, and he had these big nitrous freaking 4-cylinder things, and he had just gnarly rigs.
Yeah, well, our mechanic Ryan there in Fernie, he was telling me all about it. And obviously I haven't been here that long, so I was just like, man, I wish they were still doing it.
So if Elkford did it, I mean, maybe you have to go up. And
yeah, we'd support it. We'd be all over that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Probably take Emerson's little sled, and he could do a little drag race too.
Absolutely, yeah, kid drag race.
They usually cut them back half distance, so they're just going halfway. Yeah. Would have to buy a gear up kit then, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Make sure the little guy wins.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, we got some golf race fuel we'll toss in there.
No, yeah, or just change that limiter spring and stretch it out so the full throttle is actually full throttle,
right?
And not just lawnmower throttle.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, well, maybe we should look into that.
I know you can get them, or they have a gearing kit for the 120s.
He also has a new sled.
He also has a new sled. But you would want to race 2 classes. You don't just go to race 1. That's boring because you're sitting around all day.
Yeah.
If you're going to race 2 classes so that you're giving her all day long.
You just got to make sure he doesn't see this podcast before Christmas.
No. He is asking to watch it this morning. He wants to watch a little bit of it. Yeah. Cut him off at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, as soon as we start talking drag races, sorry, Emerson.
Yeah.
Not yet. Yeah.
Cut it off here.
You can watch the rest of this after.
I doubt he'll even last 5 minutes.
Right.
Yeah, I put it on my phone here the other day. He wanted to know what the sleds. I was setting everything up here yesterday, getting it ready. What are you doing? Well, we're getting ready for the podcast, bud. Well, what's a podcast? This is all here. I'll show you on my phone. So I set the phone up right here, and he watched it. And it was like, okay, yeah. And then back to his toy. He's drawing on the floor here. You can see little stick figures and tracing things.
Well, even before we got started, he sat here.
Yep.
Right?
I tried to get him to sit down.
Yeah.
He was just head down. Yeah.
A little shy.
I can show a clip of that. It is recorded.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, you're on the podcast. Talk about sledding. But yeah, so it'll be good if they do that. It'll get like Creston's doing it in the fall.
Right.
And it's getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And it's just an event to get people together and and compete with these
Creston
big.
Still doing it?
Creston still does it.
Really?
Grass drags.
Yeah.
So there's nothing in the winter anywhere that I know of.
I know. Yeah.
So if they do one in Elkford, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Get it fired back up. So I would go just to support it, to help them get it going.
Exactly.
Get some big sleds out there. I know if I go, Chris will go.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't have kid hockey. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can put the word out and get a bunch of people to go. I think it'd be good.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll make a post if they get enough interest. And
the sled community here is massive, so I don't think it'd be difficult to get a lot of people to show up.
No.
Especially to support some sort of event.
Yeah. Any events this year you guys got planned? Is there another demo days?
We will. We'll do a demo day. We haven't got those days scheduled yet.
No.
But I'd like to do quite a few. We usually have a pretty good turnout at them.
Yeah.
So, having a good turnout gets, you get to meet a ton of people, which is awesome. Go sit up at a cabin, have a barbecue, and do a demo.
And then you guys are also going to do an open house of some kind?
We will be, probably within the next couple of weeks, I think. We'll probably, release that, whatever that day is, probably within the next week.
Yeah.
So within the next 2 weeks, we'll probably do that. We're kind of doing a thing right now till the end of November anyway. Just kind of make room for all the new 25s. I know I spent all day today on inventory on massive load that we just received.
Yeah.
So just going through the paperwork on that to get it all out. But now we need room for it.
Yeah.
So we're just going to do some good discounts. I know you and I talked about we're probably going to do some giveaways as well.
Yeah.
So on here we'll do some of that and we'll sit down maybe when you come out on Wednesday.
Okay. Yeah. So everyone watch for that. If you're a regular podcast viewer.
Yeah.
Get more people involved, and we're gonna have a giveaway of some kind coming up here soon.
Yeah. We'll just do it through here, like and share, and win some swag. We'll probably do some hard parts, I think. Obviously, if somebody wants a different color, we'll be able to swap out and things like that. But yeah,
that'd be pretty cool.
I think it'd be pretty good. Yeah.
Is there a poker run or anything that goes on? Or is it just the Inferni, or is it just the demo ride? Do they have any other bigger rides of anything? Because Cranbrook has the poker ride.
Cranbrook does a big one, and I know Invermere used to do a big one back in the day, but I'm not sure what they're doing now.
They do have poker run.
Yeah.
They do a poker run in Fernie?
Poker run in Fernie.
So we should try and make sure we make it out to that.
Yeah. Well, I'll reach out to Justin there and get those dates and then we'll throw it up. Our marketing team's pretty decent about getting some stuff on Instagram, so we'll definitely post it on there for sure.
Yeah, I seen that on Instagram. So Ghostrider Motorsports on Instagram. I keep sharing the link.
Yeah.
If anyone's not following it, follow it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
They show the sales, what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, our marketing. She's pretty good. Yeah. She's been hammering it out there. It all started today. So our sales that we got going on till the end of November essentially started today.
Another thing before we get to the end of this was rental fleets.
Yeah.
So Alex was on last weekend and we talked about how she is getting clients up for Avalanche training.
Yeah.
And they're coming from Alberta, BC, everywhere, Ontario. And they want to do Avalanche training with her. And you guys are renting sleds. You guys are renting Avalanche bags, beacons, probes, and shovels. So the whole meal deal.
Yeah.
And you guys have a whole bunch of sleds in the rental fleet. And I even have a friend come from Ontario. He's going to pick up one of your rentals. And you guys were saying you have everything booked almost to January now.
Yeah. So yeah, we're probably 3 weeks in January. We're pretty well booked now.
Wow.
Yeah, which is wild. I think everybody knows it's going to be a good snow year. Last year, I mean, we all know it wasn't the greatest.
Yeah.
But yeah, this year we're tons of phone calls already, which is great.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah, because we have a lot. We've got a lot of rentals. We got a pretty decent sized fleet.
Yep.
Obviously, we still got a bunch of Yamahas that we're going to use. We've got some Arctic Cats we're going to use. Unfortunately, no 858s this year in the fleet because there won't really be any left. But we do have a couple 600s that'll be in the fleet as well.
Perfect.
So at least everybody will kind of get to try a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with those Yamahas either, though.
Oh, no. It's an Alpha, right? They're indestructible.
Okay. Well, that's good news. Because there's not a lot of rental companies between here and
Golden's the closest
So Golden is the closest one.
Yeah.
And they have a Polaris rental fleet because I always see them posting them for sale, 4,000 kilometers.
Right.
But yours are still like brand new.
They're still brand new because last year
Didn't get out very often.
and because we have so many, we just kind of filtered through just to keep the kilometers low on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alex had a couple of rentals last year where I think we did 7 rentals one day, and we just used the flatbeds and hauled them all out to Lumberton for her.
So you're able to deliver a rental if someone drives on a car and wants you to bring a sled out for them to take for the day.
Yeah.
And that can be arranged.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's good news.
Yeah.
And
trails like Lumberton are good because, people can show up even if they're, they don't know where they're going. They've got a good trail system.
Lumberton is good.
Yeah.
For that.
Yeah, it's really good.
I'm on the grooming committee, so I'm running the cat, grooming at night.
Yeah.
And we have a very large system that even if someone with just a trail sled wants to go out and just ride.
Yeah.
There's three different main riding areas. We have the Rob's Way, which is like a nice loop, a nice view. You get to see a little elevation, and then you have your main, the Moye Main, which takes you out to an area called Heaven, but it's groomed all the way to the base of Heaven. And then we also have Ridgeway, which is then where we have a warm-up shack that people can go have lunch at Helen's Lake at this warm-up shack, and it's groomed right to there as well.
Right, yeah.
So we're doing those 3 different routes, and those are the main routes. We also then groom outside of that at times that the snow conditions allow.
Right.
But there's a lot of debris that we get. And ATV Club helps us a ton because they're out there and they are clearing these down trees and things that are blowing down through all the storms. But the cat, it does create an issue sometimes, and it can be a little overwhelming. So we'll get a trail clearing party out once in a while and try and clear so the cat can get into these other areas.
Right.
But if it hasn't been cleared, we can't get into them to groom them unless it's been maintained, which is an all volunteer system. So the more volunteers we get, the more trails we can groom.
Yeah.
And they have a work party once a year. It goes out and clears trail. But so does the ATV Club.
Yeah.
And I can see it.
Yeah.
When I go out, even just hunting in Lumberton, I can see, the ATV Club's been through here because all of the down trees have been cleared. And
Yeah, they're awesome, actually. I've did a bunch of trails with them this year, and such a good group. And they just get a bunch of people together to go and clear even all the trails just for the
brush clearing and all the willows.
Exactly, yeah.
Cut them back.
All those willows are pretty brutal. We went into some pretty gnarly places this year.
The willows we don't have to worry about quite as much as we used to.
Yeah.
The snowcat, we used to hate the willows and we'd clear them as well. And then the Snowmobile Club purchased a tiller, and with the cat coming down over the willows, we munch them down originally, and they get all pushed down into below the tracks. And then on the way back, if you drop the tiller, and the way that tiller munches it actually will nice and clear the willows for you a little bit.
Yeah.
And just enough that now the sliders go up and down and you don't have any willows on the trail anymore.
Yeah.
So it keeps them cut back quite a bit.
Nice, yeah. Yeah, I'll have to check it out up there. I've only, like I told you, I've only been at Lumberton twice, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to go up there. I hear about all these places, and I have no idea where I'm going.
Oh, we'll get you out this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I look forward to it.
Okay, well,
Yeah, man.
thank you. We have 2 other guests on site here.
Convince you to buy one yet?
He's gonna ride it, and I'm sure he'll be sold. But we need to take it to Haystack
Too long.
to Carrot. Well, I'll take
He's
his.
got 154.
I'll take his, and then we'll just try them both.
Swap back and forth.
Yeah.
Well, then you can try the ATAC suspension too.
Yeah, like I really found like suspension on a sled it's not make or break. It doesn't, like on a dirt bike, yeah, it does. On a sled, it's not. They give us so many snow variables. Like, have you ever noticed suspension on a sled really make a difference?
Not in the deep snow.
But I'm saying
Only
like,
on the
maybe
trail.
if you're like climbing chutes, you know, you're really gonna notice it.
Well, that.
If your rear shock.
Not
is
bringing that up,
in.
though.
But it's like you could jump on whatever base model,
Yeah.
coil or air, like it's gonna ride pretty good in the
Well,
snow.
these ones, man,
Doesn't
I had
matter.
to crank these ones up. Because
Yeah.
I would bottom them.
Look
Oh,
at those
yeah, no,
shitty
but-
shocks I rode with on my Viper since
Right.
2015.
Oh,
Yeah, but like you don't notice. Like
Well,
yeah,
no,
they're,
it's
they're,
Just the trail ride in.
it's like it's such a selling feature. It's like yeah, no, it's got these nice coilovers and this and
Totally,
that. It's
yeah.
like yeah, they're nice. They're super nice.
Coming
But
out
like,
of
it really doesn't make a huge difference.
Little Sand is one place that it makes a difference.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you come out of there at Mach 10,
Kilometers.
just boom, 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 boom. I
It's-
love coming out
Yeah,
of
you
there.
can blitz the whoops though, and it's still gonna be rough. It doesn't matter if you got some sort of super duper Owens, it's gonna be rough. It doesn't matter. Like,
You're still gonna need a kidney belt out
Oh,
there.
yeah.
like,
It's so bad.
but it's good. But it's like yeah, like you really don't notice that much though. Like that's the thing, right? But yeah, I know. I like some of the suspension. You know, it helps for sure. But
I think
I'm
the
not
trail ride.
bottoming out on the rear.
The only
oh,
reason
yeah, no, for sure. Yeah.
I was looking at the Zebros on one of these sleds of my Polaris was because of that trail ride. I want to hammer in and I want to hammer out. If I go into a spot that's beat up, like Turtle or I don't care, even Sail even sucks because it's rough going in there.
Yeah.
I want to have something that'll absorb it to my weight.
But you don't blitz it though. Like it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna blitz these. And you blitz them like halfway, and you're like, oh man, this is slow.
And then you're going
And then
so
you're just like
slow.
another one of those
Yeah.
guys. It's like you're just like this the whole time. Like,
Making it worse.
you're not gonna blitz them the whole way though. Like there's no way. There's no way.
Longest whoop section ever, yeah.
Yeah.
Eagles. Eagles is
The
bad.
Eagles is bad when they don't run the groomer that day.
Turtle is like the worst.
Yes, Turtle's horrible, but you feel like you already know that going in.
Oh,
Like it's
yeah,
like
for
when you
sure.
leave the parking lot, you're like, we're going to Turtle, it's gonna suck.
It's gonna be worse.
It's gonna suck. Where like Eagles, you're like, it should be good today.
It should
but
be
then you're like,
decent.
well, already 30 sleds have gone up, and you're like,
Yeah.
well, it's gonna be shit.
Well, the thing is, it's just like a 50-kilometer trail.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh.
Coming out, you're like,
So
oh.
long. And then if it's minus 20, it makes it
Coming
even
out-
worse.
That coming out is like the worst feeling ever. You just
Yeah.
want to die.
Because it's worse than it was when you went in. Because everyone's already come in and left before you.
10% worse.
Where is it?
Eagles pass.
It's sick of this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
I've
it's
only
better
rode
than
it
being up
once.
there.
I rode it once and it took me forever to get out because
Oh,
I was like,
it's painful.
whoop, whoop. This is painful.
Yeah. Maybe deep driving, I'm telling you, it's where it's at.
But they only groom at Eagles or Sigamoose
Friday, Saturday,
if
or-
no
Certain amount
75 riders.
Yeah.
So if they hit 70 and they're 5 short, they won't groom. So that next day, it's just a little choppy. But the next day that it's beat up going in, it ain't even worse coming out.
But usually on the weekends they groom twice.
Yeah.
Because they'll groom in the morning, like they'll groom overnight so that it's fresh in the morning, and then they usually send a groomer out in midday. But the issue is it's warm, it's heated
Right.
up, so then it doesn't set by the time everybody comes out. So then like 4
That's
sleds
even
hit
worse,
over
yeah.
it, and it's already got a shot
Right.
to poop. And usually we are flying out late in the day, and it's like, oh, this is lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last time I went up to Eagle Pass, I was on a snow bike. We didn't
That's a
take
lead.
the trail.
No.
No.
You realize though when you're, I guess, married to a groomer, the science behind it. There is a lot of science behind grooming compared to just run a cat over
Just
it. and
running
it's
the
all
cat
fine.
and dragging over it. That's
Yeah.
not just it.
You gotta look at your temperatures, how cold is it gonna get that night? How cold does it snow when you're actually setting
Do you have fresh snow when you're starting to work with, or do you gotta chew the old snow up with your blade and try and smooth it out in front of you?
Right.
And how long before the first rider is gonna hit that? Because it sucks when you go and you're grooming
out.
And there's people are
going
flying
over
past and then they jump onto your groom trail and it's like you just set it down and now it has no time to set and actually freeze in.
Now it's destroyed.
Right.
Yeah.
Where the best is like when you groom and nobody touches it and it gets cold that night and it sets hard and then you're good to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I just go
Yeah. All these things I've learned now. It's like, when you say you only rode Lumberton twice, I was like, I think I groomed Lumberton more than I rode it last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, on last year, I guess I went there 3 times, but one of them we unloaded, it was like minus 32 when we unloaded there.
You guys went out on that cold streak.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Good on you.
You had to have been the only ones up there.
Well, we were, yeah.
Didn't you go and work on the cat during that streak?
No, the cat got shut. Yeah, it did, but not
down.
The cat gets shut down at minus
They won't
20.
run it.
Yeah.
No, not even minus 15. Well, we struggled with the cat when I was in charge of the grooming operations. It was down for a while and people were getting really pissed off, but every time we went up to get it going, it was so cold. We couldn't even prime the fuel system. It wouldn't even run. Batteries were then dead. So then we got to try and charge the batteries up there.
Off of trucks and
it was a
and you're
headache.
making then these guys go out in minus 20, 25, and it's like, are we risking these guys that are volunteers heading out with a cat that it's like, nobody's going to go out
Don't
and
shut it off, because if you shut it off, it might not start back up, and you don't want to send anyone out with that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's fair, yeah. Yeah, we had our Avalanche day with Alex on that day.
Oh!
That sounds like my Avalanche day that I had in Golden.
You're not even riding to keep warm. You're sitting around like.
This is like what Gabby and I had when we did ours in Golden.
Oh, yeah.
It was freaking brutal. So we actually had two different groups. So one group was in the cabin warming up, and then the other one was out doing
their
at the warm up hut.
Stuff.
Yeah.
So you went to Helen's Lake and did it there.
Was that the first cabin?
No.
So you know when you're going, you take the left. And it goes down and then take the right, and there's like a little cabin.
Yeah.
It's right there.
Well, you guys went to the actual snowmobile cabin, the big one.
Did you go to the one that had a kitchen?
Locked, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one, yeah.
Oh, good. So
the
you
one
guys.
with like the kitchen and everything in it?
No, we were in like this little shed.
Oh.
It was just tiny.
No, that's a warm up hut too.
Yeah.
There's a first aid hut there.
Yeah, that's the one, yeah.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Oh, yeah, it worked out well.
So she was going in behind in the log blocks there to train people then?
No, like when you leave there, like you're on your way out and you come to like that little 3-way, or that 4-way, and you can go left over the bridge.
Yeah.
Just right in that area. We didn't go very far.
Just and she's burying transceivers there.
Yeah.
Basically, that's where the camping spots are for hunting season.
Yeah.
Kind of area.
But yeah, it was freaking freezing.
Yeah, and it's not fun doing your training in that. Like, I did mine in Golden at that temperatures, and you felt like you didn't get nearly as much out of it that you should because you're like, just find the person.
Just get in and get out.
Just get my certificate and I'm good.
Because I've got like 5 people that want to do it, so I'm just going to chat with Alex about just giving, they're all, staff and whatever else, so I'm probably just going to work on some staff pricing with her.
Yeah.
And then we'll all just go out and I might even just go and help her.
It's a good refresher too. Like,
yeah, exactly, yeah.
I've always sold him on it that who's going to be the one that's finding him. He's not going to find him, so it doesn't matter how much training he has. I need to have the training to find him.
100%.
Yeah.
I do everything in my power though to make sure I don't need to be found.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. That's why these courses are good.
Eliminate, and you know what? Working in the industry that we work in now, Trav obviously at Tech knows it too, and working at fitting, you learn to mitigate the hazards. There should be zero reason for anyone to get hurt anymore.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, you're doing a job where you're lifting a freaking how many 1,000-pound engine out of the front end of a haul truck.
Yeah.
And there's no reason anyone should get squished by that.
No.
No reason.
Yeah.
But you're still lifting that, 5-ton engine out of this thing.
Yeah.
Well, we're still climbing chutes. and you could still get killed. But there's no reason that you can't mitigate the hazards by taking all the precautions to make sure that no one's going to get hurt.
Yeah, especially the people at the bottom. Everybody used to just sit at the bottom of the slide. That's where you sat. You just sat there and drank beer and watched the guy go up or whatever. You know, right in the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think you took me once to the Big Iron where the slide path was on Big Iron.
We went all the way to the back.
Yeah, and you showed me where everybody got stuck in that last one.
Oh, yeah.
And I sat there and I was like, why would you sit here?
I know.
Like, this is like not the smartest spot to be sitting. And I'm like, there's so many obstacles. Like, why would you choose here? But that was the knowledge back then.
Yeah. Well, nobody cared, man. I used to go riding and no beacons.
Yeah.
Like,
Nothing happened.
No
last
radio.
time. Why would it happen this time? Right?
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, looking back, there was like zero precaution.
Oh yeah. Drinking on your jerry cans and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
It was. There'd be 2 jerry cans on the back of the sled.
Yeah, no gas in them. Just rye and Coke.
Yeah, one was rye, one was Coke.
Yeah. Jesus. Yeah, a little mixeroo.
Yeah.
That would get a little flat after you went over the bumps.
Yeah. That's it. By the time you timed into those ones, it didn't matter, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I missed out on a good time. I got into sledding too late.
The good times were yeah. I think a lot of people had a lot of fun not long ago.
Yeah. But I feel back then, you know, you had sleds that never got you where you do now.
Half the sled.
It was the party was getting out and just hanging out with everybody. Now it's the sleds are getting people to places they shouldn't get to.
Totally.
They're getting people into trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember a ton of us back in the day sitting in the base of Thunderwater, and that was a climb.
Radium area?
Radium,
yeah.
Forester.
Yeah, we'd all sit at the bottom of there, and that was a climb.
Just sit and try and make it to the lake at the top.
Yeah. Yeah, 136s, that was a long track.
Just going for it.
Just going for it, yeah, wide open, getting a huge run for
And that
it.
was in the spring when the snow was a little bit more set up.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, 121 MXZs, right? Yeah.
Just going,
Yeah, I remember my buddy's dad.
It's still a big hill.
95 Mach 1 triple, and that was like the most badass thing ever, you know?
Imagine if you went back now and you told those people, like, you're gonna have a 165. Like,
Or a 175.
Yeah. You're gonna be riding a chute up that, like, with that long of a track. You'd probably sit there and be like, that's never gonna happen.
Oh, yeah.
When the 159 Polaris vertical edge came out, it was like, what are they thinking? That is way too long now.
Oh, yeah.
And now 159, 165. It's like, you know, it's gotten longer from 162s and little.
But I went to 172s though when it's kind of came back.
It did.
People were like, man, this thing is a boat.
Well, he has one. He has one for sale.
Yeah.
There's a 174 Skidoo up there.
Yeah, 116, yeah.
But it's like, it came out and like people bought them, but then they kind of went back. They're like, okay.
Sean,
The middleman is now about like the 154s is for play, and then you got your 160s for the planting.
Yeah, well, like people bought them and they're like, okay, yeah.
Sean's dad has one. And then now he bought my 155.
Yeah.
He's done at the 174.
Yeah, it's like, why would you buy that?
Yeah.
Tank.
I just remember old guys having it.
Oh,
Well, because you put more beer on the back and it wouldn't get stuck.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
no, there's guys that love them for sure, but it's like, I thought that they would just keep going, but I'm glad it didn't. It's like, I was like, okay, next
So
is
184.
184. Here we go.
They're going to start stitching 2 tracks together just to make it longer.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you can't even
No,
transport on
we
your
pro-
truck anymore.
No,
Yeah, I was gonna say that's probably what stopped us was that
The
we got
truck
the
length.
truck wouldn't fit it, so they were like, oh, we gotta keep it a lot shorter.
Legally, it can't be 4 feet past the tailgate.
Yeah.
Just tell this sled you have to have a long box. I'm sorry, but it's
Yeah.
part of the regulation.
Yeah.
The agreement says that you also have to buy a truck, which we also sell. So
You need class 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need your air brakes.
Yeah, trailer endorsement, exactly, yeah.
I I was worried for a bit there, but I'm glad they dialed her back a little bit, and you got her back in her reason.
Well, 154 was basically where it was at this year, because we pretty much sold out of them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, everybody wants 154.
Yeah.
Sure.
See, wouldn't that have been easy just to sit there and talk all the talk that we just did?
Yeah, like, that was it.
Because you guys aren't sitting there.
You did a great job.
I know I did a great job. But because you're not sitting there, I have to create the conversation and create a podcast. But if everyone just sat around the table...
Still not. The thing is still
recording, yes. But it's not going to be the same. But you'd sit around and just talk. And you don't have to be right next to the mic. Like where I am is perfectly fine. But why can't 4 people, 1 on each corner, sit there and talk and just talk about whatever the hell you want to talk about? But you said you got to be scared.
I wasn't scared. I just didn't want to be on the TV.
You're not on the TV. I see what we got to do. We got to get it so all you have is these little boots wiggling in the camera view. and then that's if people know there's a guy over there talking.
Did you notice him crack the beer? He was inside of his phone.
Oh, did you?
I was worried that the sound.
I didn't even notice.
It was so quiet.
It was quiet.
I laughed.
I heard
because
the
was
giggle.
Like, that thing won't pick it up.
No.
That thing doesn't pick up me slamming.
If we're over here talking, then it's picking this up, and then it's wholly focused out of that. But if we're here talking, oh yeah, I would hear that beer crack from this distance.
Yeah, no, I waited till somebody was talking, and it was like, I was like, oh, that was like so quiet.
He like looked over at me. I was like,
I feel like it's an acceptable sound.
It is.
yeah, I feel like it, especially for a sled podcast.
Well, I've listened to podcasts and watched, and Joe Rogan smoke a doobie. He'll drink whatever he wants to drink, and he'll do whatever he wants. Mm-hmm. Really? Why can't we have a drink in a podcast?
Yeah. Well, nobody says
it's fine.
Can. Oh,
if he says I can, then I'm doing it.
Yeah, but it's the background. Maybe people will be like,
oh, I already introduced you as the background.
Yeah. But it was like
the background guy.
The background can't come into the foreground because he's drunk.
I didn't want to be too obvious. Yeah.
Well, now the podcast is actually done now. Now you can do whatever you want. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
So, thank you for taking part, Trav.
I didn't take part. You did me for entrapment.
Of course you did. Turn the camera on. You didn't know.
Yeah. But
Do not look at the red light. I looked over and I was like, shit, you.
Maybe it's just plugged in.
No, that means it's recording. Red means record.
No. Well, I only.
But in the background,
they've chose to be camera shy. It's fine. I get it. It's this podcast thing it can be intimidating a little bit being on camera. For me, it was more comfort because I stood up in front of a crowd of people at the bar because my Snowmobile movies, I'd have a movie premiere.
Right, yeah.
And it was packed.
Now the question is, are you going to do another one of those at some point?
Well, I don't do movies. I need a friend named Alex Hansen to do a sled farm. And I'll tell you, we will put on a party. But then we also have Blair, Captain Chaos. He's halfway through filming. Last year, they didn't get enough footage. If they release the movie, we'll do a party too next year.
Yeah.
Then we would pack those places.
Yeah.
And would have to stand up in front of this crowd, and I'd do giveaways and raffles and
Wheel sleds and bars.
I used to have sleds on display in the bars.
I'm not from here, and I heard about those. So, right? So I look forward to another one.
There was
one day.
Yeah, dancing going around the sleds afterwards.
Nice.
Local companies would bring product in, like Darren would bring in some stuff. Jay would bring in, well, it was Bill back then. It turned into Jay. And even Just Liquid, Rob would bring in a little display case of goggles and sunglasses and things like that. It was huge. It was like Cranbrook's preseason getting ready to Snowmobile thing.
Yeah.
And we did it usually in October. I think I did the beginning of November a few times.
Okay.
But it just kind of ramped up. And a few years I didn't have a movie. And it was Cam Hicks had this Hicks show. And it was a follow cam, sorry. They did a follow cam video. And it was pretty good. It was out of Castlegar. So the one year I couldn't get something, I brought something in. But there was a lot more snowmobile movies back then.
Yeah.
So if I didn't have something, it was like, who am I going to look out to? And there's always lots of people.
Yeah.
So we need Blair and Alex to make their movies come together.
Absolutely, yeah.
And we can have some events, There's, Fernie usually at the bar up there. They used to get Thunderstruck, and Thunderstruck's gone.
Even all those film previews in Revelstoke.
The film festivals.
Yeah, that's what they were.
Yeah. And I went to one of those. They had 509 on one of the last 509s that they did, and they did a Winter Nutz and one other one, but I don't remember the name.
Yeah.
And it was kind of the ramp up party.
Yeah.
And in
I think
November,
those should come back for sure.
It should.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. We'll have to push them a little bit more.
Yeah.
We'll get Alex back in on a podcast here. I know I want to get Logan in, his friend, and in that probably talk a little bit more about filming. And if we can hype up a film a little more with the podcast, there might be more success in making money from filming, because these guys aren't making any money. They got a cost of a camera, like their drones are thousands and thousands of dollars, and their cameras are thousands of dollars, and
it's a commitment.
They got to be motivated to pack it all up there for the day and film.
Yeah.
And to just film it for nothing doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
To film it to create something that is beneficial and is worthwhile that people are going to actually watch.
Yeah.
So we got to get the viewers back up.
Yeah.
And that's Alex's problem right now, is people are on a screen, and he can create a little 10-second clip, and everyone will watch that, and you get lots of views.
Yeah.
But you create a full-length movie, well, you're not putting that on Instagram for everyone to watch. So you have to create a way that you're going to distribute that film, and DVDs have kind of gone aside, but how he brings it, I don't know. And he's pretty good, and I know he's a smart guy when it comes to that kind of stuff. So I'm sure he'll come up with a plan.
It'll come. Something will click one day, and hopefully it all just comes back to what it was. And well, here's to hoping for him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time.
Yeah, of course, man.
Yeah. Next time we'll get the other guests on and do a little bit more chit chat and. Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
And we'll be at this again next week.
I like it.